What is going on, guys? It is Adam A.K. Marf, and today's show is an MFN Blitz. We're going to hit you with a lot in a little. So be right back right after this. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam A.K. Marf, and first off, to hit you real quick, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that out of the way, if you are not getting notifications, make sure to go to our website. And, of course, today is brought to you by NordVPN. Make sure to go to marfooglenews.com/VPN to find out how much you can save. All right, so first off, let's bring in Dex. This is a blitz, so we're going to hit you with a lot of information. I hope that this gets shared out. This is kind of an experiment. We have a lot of important stuff going on, and I believe in the next few months, we are going to see a massive event unravel here. So we're going to talk about that. Dex, what is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So if you want to check our work, we make the time before every single show to actually back up every single article, every single tweet, every single video to our website, on our website. And here you can actually find today's show by thumbnail. In fact, you'll just look for this thumbnail. Stratcom, of course, aka U.S. Strategic Command, just said what? And then, of course, it will say, why is no one talking about this? And then when you click on it, you'll see all of the links. So if you don't believe us, you can go and get your information there. I, of course, have some... I hate saying the word inside information. It's a family friend, and it's, basically family. Again, talking about what is kind of really happening there, and this is from somebody who is on the administrative side, was their former superior years and years, over a decade ago, and they still talk on a weekly basis. They're best friends. They went through everything together. So basically said that we are trying everything along with Ukraine and other countries. Other countries have sent in experts to try to talk to Russia. So right now, as far as, what I think, even my thoughts have changed over the last couple of days, because I have thought, it's a show, or it's this or that, or, Russia's actually not doing anything bad, or, they might just be pointing us towards Russia, but really it's over here at China. China and Russia are together, and there very well may be people, I believe, at the very top of everything that are all together, and that includes us. So, pretty crazy stuff, and I guess, most people aren't surprised by anything nowadays, but there are a small percentage of people that are just like, they don't want this to ever happen, and they think it will never happen, and I guess their brains are telling them, nope, it won't happen. But again, I would highly recommend that everybody ends up, just paying attention to all of this, all of it. Now, today is 420, so there's a lot of potheads rejoicing. It's also the birthday of a very famous, crazy man who did horrible things back in WW2. And of course, there's a stigma with that. This is also the anniversary of, Columbine and that school. One of the first kind of publicized humongous events there. So today has a stigma behind it. So we'll get right into the news. Senate Leader Schumer calls for marijuana to be decriminalized by next year's 420. Why? I don't know. It says Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer on Tuesday reiterated his call to legalize marijuana at the federal level, saying he hopes to see an end to the drugs prohibition by next year's 420. It says, hopefully this next time this unofficial holiday 420 rolls around, our country will have made progress in addressing the massive overcriminalization of marijuana in a meaningful and comprehensive way. So just to hit that real quick, I don't smoke pot. I used to smoke pot. A lot of people smoke pot, and totally cool with all of my audience that blaze up. But on one thing, it's like, why is Chuck Schumer saying this? Dex, did you think it was kind of weird that he's like, 420?
No, he's trying relevant. He's trying to get back in the news.
I guess so. Of course.
I mean, what was his other alternative was to do what the other politicians did, which was, sketchy.
And again, people are in jail for marijuana in one state, and if they would have crossed over 10 feet in a different state, it's totally legalized. Here, you can buy marijuana at a corner store. Now there's just as many dispensaries in where I live as there is Starbucks. You can go pretty much, a mile each way, and there's a dispensary that if you're 21 and have an ID, you can go in and you can get stuff. So what do you think about this issue? Tell me in the comments below. And then, of course, we have Joints for Jabs. Activist group gives weed to VED people on 420. This is just horrible. I'll just let you guys absorb that for a while. Not literally, hopefully. Marijuana activist groups are helping the V drive Tuesday by giving adults a joint for a jab. That's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. Gone Girl, thank you so much for popping in early, and I know you are you've been going through some stuff yourself. Says much love, Adam, Dex, Mods, and Foogle fam. Hang tight, let's do this together. We will make it. Be soul safe. # soul safe. Thank you, Gone Girl. Thank you for the massive support. Thank you. We are truly independent. We don't have a multi-channel network, so we really do appreciate that. John Champion, thank you as well for massive support right out of the gate. And Kimberly Pearson, thank you as well. John, just a thing for next time. You can write a message or say hi or, I've gotten to know people through their, $2 donations, and then over time you end up getting to know people. Strategic Command warns U.S. must prepare for nuclear conflict due to today's unpredictable conflicts. So Stratcom, which again did, along with Northern Command, both of these different entities, has been doing over the last year a bunch of EAS alerts on TVs and things. You'll see your normal one that's like, hey, this is your scheduled EAS. I actually told you, and I put a YouTube story out on the 15-second story basically showing you that I was getting these Northern Command ones. If you've gotten one of those, that's pretty freaky. But then we've had a Stratcom and Northern Command. So they are doing different EAS tests, and it seems like they've ramped up a bunch of it in just the last year and a half. Especially, I noticed them, I guess, after the Hawaii incident in 2018, or was that 2017? I believe it was early 2018 in January. So I've noticed those every time, obviously, they make the sound. This one even sounded different and had a different voice behind it and said, this is, of course, practice for blah, blah, blah. And it was just creepy. It says that the U.S. must prepare for nuclear conflict. Strategic Command warns today's unpredictable conflicts could escalate rapidly, where countries consider nuclear use as their least bad option. Their least bad option. It says that the U.S. Strategic Command will warn in its annual posture statement that the spectrum of conflict today could rapidly lead to nuclear conflict. It says Commander Charles Richard will give testimony to the House Armed Services Committee and the Senate Committee on Armed Services this week. So the person, one of the persons that I trust, that I know personally, that has a lot of connections as far as military goes, is now retired, had a lot of great wealth of stuff when he was retired last year, has told me a bunch of stuff, and it's nothing that will hurt the military or hurt. I always see like, oh, don't say that because then that's going to hurt them. Both sides know exactly what's going on right now. I should say all three sides. Right now, they are getting us ready for a massive event. They are mentally preparing the United States for something bigger than all of this. That is my firm belief, and I'll catch flack for it, and people will go, you're just doing it for them. I don't care. My friends in IRL, in real life, they're even starting to come around because finally they are paying attention. Imagine this. I don't know if you have friends like this where you want to prove a point and they're like, no, and they're completely opposite, but they don't know actually anything about the situation, then you want to give them 20 articles. Are they going to look at those 20 articles? Are they going to look at your proof? Are they going to look at your evidence? No. Finally, a few things that have just happened recently. It's like I believe some of my actual friends that, these are friends that aren't going to leave you even if they do hate you, or even if they do hate your views, right? They're finally coming around. Because now we've archived all of this, and when you go back to it, go, hey, remember when I said this 2 years ago? Or remember when I said 4 years ago this is what is actually happening? Now they've confirmed it. So a lot of the times our gut is right about what is happening. What does your gut tell you? Even if you don't think, just take me out of the picture. What do you think is happening right now? In general, I believe most of you believe that something massive is on the horizon. Is it an all-out nuclear conflict? I don't know. It very well could be a financial conflict that just collapses us financially and puts us into the worst depression you've ever seen. Right now, just to put it one way, we haven't seen, real bad yet. We've seen unemployment, we've seen this kind of stuff, but we haven't seen real bad. And I'm talking about everything goes just under. Our dollar completely collapses. Nothing's worth anything all of a sudden. And one example, Venezuela. One of the wealthiest countries in the world, all of a sudden, boom, into blackouts and chaos. Now our adversaries are beefing up their electromagnetic weapons. People say, oh, they're just doing this for EMP Shield. The reason we work for EMP Shield is because I don't want to sell, what do you call it? I don't blame people that want to sell flashlights and stuff like that, but I wanted to sell something that I felt like was giving a huge advantage. That's why we work. The affiliates that I work with, I believe that they will either save a life or make a life better. Otherwise, there's no passion in it, and I don't want to do it. But we do have to make money somehow. Again, now even demonetized videos can get ads on them. So you're like, oh, you're monetized. I've seen that. You're monetized on a video that was demonetized. But guess what? They changed terms of service. So things like that can happen. And then on a video you get, $20 in supers and 30% goes to YouTube. People don't get it. Why I'm saying this is, where is the motivation for us to say this? There's no, I guess, what are the positives? I believe that I will have you guys and you will have my back. And I believe if something really did hit the fan, I'm almost thinking we should come up with some way to kind of identify. And if it never happens, then we will all have extra stuff. We'll all be extra prepared for anything, whether it be a tornado or something else. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. If nothing happens, that's great. I would rather know every step of the way, and I'd rather let people know that than not know. Dex, you are somebody who is considered respectable, somebody who is considered a normal person. You are also considered a part of your society. You do things for your community. You do things. You are literally probably one of the most kind of picture perfect people as far as, how you live your life and how you give to society. What do you think about all this? Do you think we're all crazy because we think something's about to happen?
Wow, Adam, thank you for that. But I'm not that perfect. But yes, I don't think that we're crazy for understanding this, and I don't think that we're crazy for preparing for these things. We did it in the 50s, we did it in the 60s, we've done it in the 70s. There's nothing wrong with being prepared, and you never know when something may happen. I mean, if you look back in history, just looking back at, like, say, the Cuban thing, when that went off, we were on the brink. I mean, it could have literally happened at that point, and there was nothing we could have done about it. Once it goes off, you're pretty much got to take care of yourself, right? You can't wait for the government to swoop in and say everything's going to be all right, because that's not going to happen. Well,
that's another thing. So the person or the gentleman that said, "Oh, well, why don't you just give faith to your military? Have faith. They've got this handled." Look at all the previous events that we've had, just even in the last 10 years. You can't always trust somebody else to save you. And I guess what if they do have it handled and the overall picture is that they win and they fix everything? But what if it's a year and a half of no electricity up until that point? So even if a win means, oh, we only lost this many people instead of it never happened. I think that it's weird that this is not at front page. Everything that is on front page is the stuff that is just being jammed into your face, into your eyeballs, into your scrollers. If you notice how the things are put right front and center when you scroll on any social media, whether it be Twitter or Facebook or anything, the stuff that's right there. If this is fear-mongering, then the media would be pushing this to the very, very front. But right now, they're actually trying to minimize panic on this. That's what freaks me out. They are minimizing the panic on it. People go, oh, it's on MSM. Yeah, but it's not it's 10 seconds and then boom, they move on. Hey, what was the verdict? What was this? They are slowly, we've shown you all of the different parts, even of all of the branches of the U.S. at least. Now we've seen Australia saying we are going to basically strengthen our military. We are ready to fight with the U.S. Now you have the U.K., their Navy moving in. You've got our Navy moving in. You've got all of China's Navy now setting up South China Sea. They even have maritime humongous ships making walls and doing practice drills. And by the way, I think we're on day 3 or 4 of their 6-day drill, which again, their simulation by the U.S. government, the game they played, was that they were doing a drill, and under that drill, under the guise of a drill, they went and took out a bunch of stuff and then tapped from there. You'd have to watch the last 5 videos on the other channel, Marfoogle News, to kind of understand that, but so I guess I don't feel bad for putting it out there and trying to get people up to speed for every step. The U.S. Strategic Command, they're saying stuff like this. This is just another piece of it. This isn't, oh my God, they're saying this. It's this, NERC, it's all of the different agencies and all of the money trails point to one thing. All of UK's agencies and money trails point to one thing. Something is going to happen. So I guess, in general, I can't just do a video every day and say, hey, prepare. Something's eventually going to happen. So we got to give you details and archive what's happening. And then we have China-linked hackers used Pulse Secure flaw to target U.S. defense industry. We've shown you the hacks that are right up in there. China and Russia have gotten into every aspect. If, again, people say, oh, they're lying on Russia. I wouldn't doubt it because, watch, the U.S. is most likely doing it to them as well. The U.S. is probably hacking China, hacking Russia. In fact, they're hacking the whole world. Think about what Snowden came out with. Think about the systems they already had in play, and then they told us they deleted all that. Do you think that other countries weren't mad about that? They absolutely were. They called it a crime against humanity in some cases. Think about it. The French president at the time, or I don't know, let's take the Norwegian president, didn't know that some dork in CIA or whatever agency or NSA could actually access his cell phone camera and watch him while he's, in his bedroom or when he's in the shower. They didn't know that until Snowden, and whether you think Snowden is a hero or a traitor, the rest of the world was pissed off at it. Then there was a whole series of accusations, series of things that happened, and they said they deleted it. They said they ended these programs, but we know they still exist. In fact, they might have just turned into, they might have morphed right into the existing platforms that were already there that everybody is so hooked on. Who knows? Total Vagabonds, lots of love from Ireland. See, we got people watching from all over. I would love to know, Total Vagabonds, what is going on in Ireland? Like, what do you guys hear and what is actually happening there? Tammy Testa Total Vagabond, send me an email if you can, or anybody else that's watching from Ireland, send me an email and tell me, what are you guys hearing there? What are the main people? What do your friends and family think about everything that's going on? Do you hear anything outside the U.S.? If you are anywhere outside the U.S., tell me what your news sources are saying, because we use VPNs to go outside of it, and they're all saying the same thing, that it looks like something massive is on the horizon. Mickey the Ironworker says, Mr. Beast. Oh my gosh. Mr. Beast, the guy who's 50 million subscribers, is giving money to his subs if they get the thing. I wouldn't be surprised. He's done those tree, kind of plant a tree things. He's partnered up with all the top people. He's partnered up with Jimmy Kimmel and all these people. I would not doubt that. Bobby of Joy, thank you for your support, says all hell is going to break loose at some point. It's biblical. Check out Russ Dizdar, The Black Awakening, for some heavy scripture-based info. Love you guys. I've actually liked FAI Studios too. It's a pastor that talks about some of the stuff. That one thing I would say to the people that say, oh, this is all BS, then when is it going to happen? And what is your opinion? Tell me in the comments. Be constructive. Be a part of the conversation. I will 100% have a conversation with you about it. Kara Fusiller says, buy BC Cash in hand Litecoin at PP Powell. I don't know if maybe you needed a space there. But Kara, again, Dex is the expert on that stuff. Code phase number, head on a swivel. I once said this, and the customer I said was talked to looked at me and asked me while pointing at me, Marfoogle? Cat, so somebody said that? That's funny. Holly Squires, thanks for your support. Kelly H. And then Susan Donahue. Thank you. I was just looking at old emails and your name popped up. I just want to thank you for being here 3 years now, and thank you for supporting. So these hacks that have gone on, it says at least 2 groups of China-linked hackers have spent months using a previously undisclosed vulnerability in American networking devices to spy on the U.S. defense industry, researchers in the device manufacturer said on Tuesday. Utah-based IT company Avanti said in a statement that the hackers took advantage of the flaw in its Pulse Connect secure suite of virtual private networking devices to break into the systems of a very limited number of customers. Yeah, do you believe that? A very limited number of customers. I don't. And then we have China's Xi warns against unilateralism as tensions with U.S. rise. Dex, do you want to quickly explain why he said this and what he's trying to say here?
Oh, of course. He's basically trying to say, hey, we are just as big. We're the biggest, if not equal to, the U.S. and anyone else that thinks they're out there. And no one should be coming, and treating us any differently. And I really think this is a big posture position for them. They're trying to, between them and Russia are both trying to exert their, positions in the, the head of the globe, right?
And what's so crazy is this speech was at the, boom, right here. Pay attention, folks. This word, this highlighted word, is a giant part of everything that's going on right now. Just type that word into YouTube. And then we have I walk. Rattled as is repeatedly strikes key targets. Of course, it says that in less than 9 months, an assassin on a motorbike fatally shot an AIDA commander given refuge in Tehran. Chief nuclear scientist was machine gunned on a country road, and 2 separate mysterious explosions rocked a key nuclear facility in the desert in I Walk to the Store, striking the heart of the country's effort to enrich uranium. It says the steady drumbeat of attacks, which intelligence officials said that were carried out by the IS, highlighted the seeming ease of which IS intelligence was able to reach deep inside their borders and repeatedly strike its most heavily guarded targets, often with the help of turncoat. So basically people that were traitors, right? Of course,
we've been talking about this. We've been saying, and we said this the last couple of shows. We said, look, this tit for tat game is going on, and it's going to continue to go on, but it's gone on significantly, and it's not necessarily been in the news. We've covered it, but it's not really front and center. And this is the type of thing that's going to spark off something, right? It continues to escalate. It continues to escalate. This right here is a really good article where somebody put together everything that's happened, all of it, like lined it all up. So it sort of validates what we've been talking about. We've said this all along, and we're seeing it, and we're monitoring it, and we're watching it. So there's three fronts, right? You've got, Taiwan, you got ME, and you've got Ukraine, right?
And like you said, this has everything in there. So this is a really incredible article to actually read all the way through. If you can, go over to marfooglenews.com, grab that and read it, because it has so much of the information. And as I went through it, I could see all of the stories we've covered over at least the last 2 years. I think there was one from 4 years ago, but those were all in there, and it's all in one spot. So very good job on the article writer there. That, of course, is dnews.com. And then, of course, we have Russia fires cruise missiles in the Black Sea and moves dozens of fighter jets to the border as Putin strangles. Now, from what I hear, we will see another 80 to 120,000 there in Russia. So now they're saying 120,000 confirmed. So they have satellite images, and they say that there's that much. They're setting up medical tents. They are setting up food bays. They're setting up everything. They have structures. They are setting up, and they're basically setting up for an invasion. From what I know is that they are begging and saying anything. They are having other countries come in and give kind of financial carrots, like, you don't need Ukraine, we'll help you, we'll do this, we'll do that, let's work something out. And that's being done. I don't think there's anybody in public talking about that. They're financially trying to get them to stop, and they have not had any success. There are specialists, there's Navy SEALs, there's all sorts of teams in Ukraine. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of event where some important guy was taken out. So again, this comes as new satellite images shows Russia's expanding military lineup near Ukraine, with Su-30 fighters lined up on a runway in Crimea, which were not there last month. The photos, by the way, a ton of stuff that wasn't there last month. They even have their drones. They have artillery. They have these setup machines. It basically defensive measures. They have actual kind of defensive fencing, all sorts of things that were not there last month. Just real quick, to support our show, we make sure to mention our affiliates. If you guys have not checked out EMP Shield, the reason why we are partnered with them and why we told you to get these before we partnered with them is because we believe in them. And it's a family-owned business that basically exploded when they got contracted. After T-Man did an executive order to harden our grid, these guys got called up. So again, these guys have worked with DHS, Department of Homeland Security, DOD. Of course, this is how all those guys are trying to protect themselves. Well, you can too. Again, go to marfooglenews.com/EMP and get protected against all three phases, E1, E2, and E3, and you can protect yourself against the coming solar flare, which is guaranteed. That is just a matter of when, not if it happens. Again, this is marfooglenews.com/EMP. It is the largest sale they've ever done when you combine it with our $50 off. All right, and then let's go back to this. We have the Russian-Ukraine buildup greater than disclosed, satellite images show. So that's actually linked. The satellite images, of course, I believe we're going to have to go to...
You know what's interesting about this, Adam? They're always delayed, right? So this is the thing. We heard from an official, EU official yesterday saying 150. And then everybody's like, oh, where'd you get your number? Where'd you get your number? Well, they're all running around with this 100 number, 120 number, but they're doing it off satellite images. But the images are delayed. Like by the time it gets out, gets released, gets to the public, it's already a week, sometimes 2 weeks old. And they're comparing, what's happened over the last, 45 days. Well, the last 10 days, it could have doubled, and we just don't know it yet. That's why it's interesting when that official says, hey, we see 150.
So again, I believe my people more. If they're not there yet, they are on their way. It takes time to move that many people. I would not be surprised to see 200, 220 there by mid next week. 200 to 220 by mid next week. Russia imposes TV blackout on Alexei Navalny amid fears he could die any day. So it says on Monday, TV news bulletins in Russia failed to report that the 44-year-old Putin critic has been transferred from jail to hospital 3 weeks into his hunger strike. It says Russian state TV has imposed a virtual blackout on coverage on Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny amid claims he could die at any minute in a prison hospital. The imprisoned 44-year-old, a prominent critic of President Vladimir Putin, has been on a hunger strike, and there is planned protests in 77 cities as a show of support. The protests on Wednesday will coincide with Vladimir Putin's key annual State of the Nation address to Parliament. The Russian government have said that the protests are legal. Imagine that. Sometimes I think, man, maybe he's onto something there. Just kidding. But when you see these pointless protests where they're just burning everything down for no reason, again, Putin's answer to U.S. sanctions is more economic isolation. So Russia now holds more gold than dollars in their national reserves. It says Russian Vladimir Putin is likely to respond in the latest round of U.S. sanctions threats as he has to past ones by speeding his drive to make Russia's economy more self-sufficient. Dex, by the way, this whole gold thing, are we seeing something that's happened before happen right now?
Well, I think what we're seeing is these, as we've talked about the petrodollar, we've talked about the importance of the U.S. dollar across the globe and the global economy, right? And as we see these superpowers, they're pushing hard. When I say that, I'm talking about Russia and China are pushing hard to establish their own currency, right? I mean, they have one in their country, but they're trying to establish it as a global currency, and they're trying to back it up. So they're investing heavily in things like gold, and the amount of trade that's done in rubles versus dollars is going up significantly on the ruble side, and they're trying to compress and push down the dollar side in Russia so that they can, basically decouple themselves from this traditional U.S. dollar-based economy.
And they've separated their internet. They've separated many of their procedures, and they're trying to go through China. China is, of course, now trying to cut us out of the picture and then go and actually do planting and farming over in Russia. Russia's even giving them free land to do so. They are cutting us out in the middle. Russia is also opening up a new strait. They're straight up blowing up ice to open up a new waterway. They are trying to cut the U.S. out. And guess what? So everybody's saying, these guys are the big bad guys. Maybe, just maybe, and I wouldn't put it past, and I would never be surprised by anything. Maybe they think that we are going to strike first and say they striked first or something like that, right? Think about it. Every other country that's come up on our dollar, on the petrodollar or anything else, just magically gets taken out. So maybe they're making a stand against us. Who knows? Tell me I'm crazy. Marianne Crowell, thank you so much for your support. Doc Bill, Ontario Police said no thanks to Ford's C-19 random stop law just because Doug Ford has given police the power to stop and question. Yeah, insanity. There's a lot of insanity going on right now, and of course, it's only going to get worse. Delta Dawn, thank you so much for all of your support tonight. Delta, thank you for multiple Ninja Guineas over there on DLive. Cindy99, Brian Susmalich, they're counting on us to have closed eyes or to be too high to care. We can't afford to be blind. I agree with you. I agree with you, and I agree with you. Cloud Farrell, Just a Song, thank you for following. All the new people there, thank you so much. Jammer, thanks for gifting out Marfia badges over on DLive. DLive, again, thank you, everybody over there. Scooby-Doo, right, Carolina Roots. No shout trick tonight. This is a MFN Blitz. We are also going to be doing a DLive only show on Thursday. If we might as well do a YouTube show as well, but it will be a separate, different show. So Thursday is the day we're doing DLive only. For YouTube, announcement to come. Dex, thank you for your help today. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, great show, brother.
And then again, if you guys want to protect yourself against cyber threats, make sure to go check out Nord. If you have not already, of course, Nord is, again, Huge discount if you go through us, and it helps us out. This is how we can support ourselves, especially when we talk about the more extreme stuff. Again, we still have to watch yourself because guess what? A lot of our friends are now gone after this year. In fact, I know at least 10 people personally that are no longer around on any platform. So very scary stuff. Keep your head on a swivel, get yourself prepared, get yourself some food and water, and be responsible about it too, though. Don't freak out. All right, you guys, have faith in everything. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
I was gonna crash and burn and everyone knew. I was gonna crash and burn and everyone knew. Everyone knew. I was gonna crash and 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 gonna crash and gonna